The resurgence of monster movies is Saturn and Pisces. Saturn does have to do with trends, particularly the 2 to 3 year trends like fashion and aesthetic. I've written about it before, but now I'm revisiting that from several years ago, as well as compiling more data. I think that there are notions and connections specifically between robotics and monsters, automatonic structure. Now, what's interesting though, when we look into the history of automatons and robots, is a lot of their staple points of creation or naming was during Pluto in Leo. We've talked a lot about how Pluto in Aquarius challenges everything that came out of Pluto in Leo, and that's not just within the last time that Pluto was in Leo. The first automaton clockwork writing module or mechanisms and process of building was published in 1206. Pluto was in Leo, and it's gone through many articulations since. Before we had the clockwork agency of these, the automatons were moved via waterway, which is why in the ancient world they had things like elevators. It still falls into automatonic structure as far as robotics go. The implication of AI into is the challenge here. It's the technology of to the shining creation. Now, 3 years ago when I was reflecting on these things, I was reflecting a lot through the tale of Prometheus, the moon of Prometheus, and the capitalization that that moon done within the excavating and collecting, carving out the rings of Saturn, the one ring place. Now we can also look to the story of Hephaestus through this lens, but the resurgence or idea of monster movies coming back isn't just with Nosferatu right now, or what's going on with the development of another Frankenstein. We've already had 2 Frankenstein retelling during this time, while Neptune was still in Pisces also, which is important within this specific type of retelling. Now within fashion, I also have some theories of the direction that's going to go as Saturn moves into air, and I think some of the carryover of that is what we have already seen within medieval fashion, which has made its motion more heavily dictated throughout the time of Saturn in Pisces, from dark academia to whimsigoth, now into medieval revival. It's very fitting as Saturn will move into Aries in this idea of conquest, crusade, being a champion. We've already seen it on the runway, which means that it steps away from making its way into a more accessible consumption. Anyway, those are just some of my working thoughts and the research that I've been doing today and the things that I've researched and written on in years past that I am now reflecting upon.